Lipohe ke kanila. Well, it's Sunday, which means it's a weekend, which means it's gardening day. And first thing, actually this is the last thing I did, was to trim back the apron area. Got the weed whacker out and buzzed it. It was getting a little shaggy, so almost looks like we have grass. Most of it's weeds though. The mushroom farm is doing awesome. Look at that. They're just going nuts. Over there too. But I guess that's just a sign of a healthy garden, healthy soil, whatever. As far as the house goes, we have got all of the beams set for the main house. We don't have any beams set for the decks yet, but all the beams are set for the main house. And you can see we have the floor joists for about half the house. Couple of little blocks missing, but other than that, that's awesome progress. That was all like Friday afternoon. Just threw them joists in like crazy. Jim nailed them and I cut them and ran them over to him, so it was fun. Did a really good job. What else? We've got some pesticide that's supposed to support the ohia trees. There's a boring beetle that can get into them. So you mix up this pesticide with water and you pour it around the base, and it goes in through the roots and goes up and protects the tree inside, from the inside. So it's expensive. It's $150 a gallon. But we got a gallon of it, and I was able to do the 2 kapuna trees, a few of these trees over here, a lot of the trees over by the entrance, a few of those trees over there got sort of broadcast together. I mixed up a batch and just kind of poured it on all of them. But we have a lot more trees than that stuff. You know, I mean, it's supposed to be like an ounce per 2 inches of circumference of the tree, and that one tree there I think took 28 ounces. It's a big tree, so you know that's almost a quart of the stuff. But you can see that tree right there has died just recently. They go really fast, that's why they call it rapid ohia death. But I didn't even notice that it was having a hard time, and now it's lost all its leaves. So there's some other stuff that has a similar pesticide in it. It's the same kind of pesticide, but it's a much lower concentration. So I'm going to buy that and do this tree and this tree. Maybe I'll try to do that tree just to see if it'll come back. But in that tree, and there's a little ohia tree in the back here. Also, I spent this afternoon cleaning up the screw pine forest back here. I don't like screw pine trees that much, but this little group of them right here is sort of grown on me, and so I weed whacked all the bases, cut out a couple of small trees that were in there, and piled up all of the leaves that fall. And they're just terrible because they have these spines that just dig into your skin if you're not careful. And you can't, when you rake them, you have to turn them around backwards, otherwise you can't rake them up. They just they're terrible. But we got, you know, 5 good ones here, and now the ground is much more neat and tidy back here. I buried some papaya seeds back here too, so maybe someday we'll have papaya trees. What else? Oh, the garden shed is doing awesome. Oli paid for a couple of shelving units, and I'm going to open it up so you can see. So, kind of have garden stuff and different stuff in there. I bought a little shelf rack for the back that attaches directly to the wall, and I can put the weed whacker there. And then here's all my tools now, tools and spares. I even have a generator back here, and a big air tank for inflating stuff and blowing stuff out. And this is sort of my little workbench. I can put that outside and work on stuff. So that's a huge improvement, having all that storage space. A lot of the holly is cleaned out, put into here. The ground here is not great. That's cinder, and it doesn't compact very well, and it was hard to even out. And one thing I found, you might have noticed some water on the floor. The water kind of drips off the roof here and hits the very edge, the plastic edge right there, and then it's been going underneath the floor. So I put this tar paper on with some caulking, just to see if it will direct the water away and keep it from going inside. The little garden is doing awesome. We have a million little tomato plants now. I didn't really think the tomato plants were going to grow, so I just kind of threw a bunch of them in the holes, but you can see how many tomato plants we have. These are Hawaiian adapted tomatoes, so they're better for the local environment. I have just a few lettuces. There's a whole bunch of lettuce in here, but it's just these ones here in the front that seem to be growing. I don't know, maybe these ones in back are too deep, or there's a couple in there. But it's hard to say what's going on. I don't know what I'm doing. All the radishes are doing great. This row of radishes, those ones, they were sort of quote-unquote original. This row, I plucked the secondary plants out and put them in here. So these are sort of the culls, I guess. But all of them are doing pretty good. Here's another cull. I'll probably just pull that one. The cucumbers are doing really good. Even getting some secondary leaves. So the idea here is we're going to put some trellis up here. I might even have it hang out, depending on how big these plants get, to have the tomatoes up on the trellis and the cucumbers as well, so they'll get good sun. The ulu tree has got a new little leaf that has emerged from its thing, and I think I even see another leaf starting in there. So she's growing. Awesome. What else? Did some work on the cabin. Take you up there and show you. This is my shortcut way. I meant to cut up this pallet this weekend. I haven't used this area in quite some time. I really just throw weeds on top of it when I cut them, when I pull them, so they die. But I do want to cut that pallet up and take this tarp down, put up a regular clothesline somewhere, but haven't done that yet. But this step is new. This is from yesterday. That big step was a little much, so just added a couple cantilever boards. I actually used cut-offs from the floor joists and put them in there, and so that makes it much nicer for stepping up and everything else. Thought Ziggy was going to make an appearance, but I guess not. Oh, there he is. Hey, Zig. What are you doing? But the underside of the cabin is cleaned out a little bit. Still have some mohia logs in there. It is kind of a mess, but I took some of the pesticides and stuff that we have and put them in the shed, and I meant to plant that sugar cane today too, but I didn't get to it. Maybe tomorrow, maybe not. Weed whacked in here, so that's a little bit cleaner. Looks like I missed some razor grass. Oh well. There's always another week. But tomorrow back at the floor joists and finish those up, and then do the 4x4 bracing underneath the pillar blocks, and then maybe onto the decks. I don't know what Jim's plan is for all of that, but we have the floor joists for the decks on hand, so it seems to me like we ought to just go ahead and do them before we get the next load of lumber in. Okay, well that's it. Aloha.